All right, guys. Well, the purpose of this video is, as you guys know, just to help you succeed. And we want you guys to be successful public speakers. And we want you to take what we tell you about the audience and really use it to your advantage, because the audience is the other 50% of a good public speech. So just looking back on some of the things that we already told you and some of the tips and the information that we already gave you, we had Claire telling you guys about the being knowledgeable of your audience. And this is a really important one because it's very helpful if you research your audience and you know what your audience likes, what it dislikes, who they are, the diversity behind them, and how many different people are in the room, or are they people very like-minded to you, or that have differing opinions from what you're trying to say. So knowing your audience is a big point that Claire really drove home well. And then the second thing that we brought up is what you want your audience to take away from the speech. So in this, Jessica talked about the feel, no, do technique. And the main part about knowing what your audience wants and knowing what you want them to take away from it is just really understanding what your purpose of the speech is and really driving home that purpose and getting your audience on track and hopefully getting them to go home with the message that you came to give to them. And then we had Calissa talk about diversity sensitivity, which was mentioned earlier, and as you can see is a recurring theme and very important to the audience of the speech. And with this, we talked about eliminating some figurative language. Just because something makes sense to you in your culture does not mean that it makes sense to people of other cultures that may be in your audience that you may not even be able to recognize. So just be very mindful of that and try not to use language that only you can get, or only you and a few other people can get. And then we had Tony talking about how to engage with your audience. And this is a big thing because you need to keep your audience engaged, because over 90% of the listeners at business presentations admit to daydreaming. So you need to be knowledgeable about what to look for, whether people are dozing off, checking their watches, just trying to get out of there, just trying to get through the speech. You don't want that. You want to keep them engaged. And Tony gave you some great tips on how to keep your audience engaged. Then lastly, we had Andrew talking about some examples of bad interactions with audiences. And this is a lot of common sense that you should be able to see, because it's something that you really don't want to see in any conversation. So you really need to know when you're losing your audience, and then just kind of see the tips of knowing that you're losing them and seeing the social cues. So then you can take those social cues and then turn it into some things that Tony said about having to keep them engaged. And overall, we just really wanted to drive home the importance of the audience in a public speech, and hope that you guys think that it's as important as we do. And we really hope that you enjoyed it, and hope that you guys got as much out of it as we put into it. Thank you.